Hey everyone, just a quick update from me in regarding to the YouTube membership. Thank you so much for all of you that have joined. For those of you that have been gifted, welcome to the family. And of course, I hope you're enjoying the content that is ad-free. Now, some of you have been getting notifications, some of you not. Now, if you join my Discord, link in the description below. Now, if you join my Discord, if you reach out to me and let me know that you're on the Supporter Plus membership, then I can actually assign you a special role that will allow you to see a special section of the Discord, and all the content will be posted there so you never miss a video. Now, what I will do is obviously once a video is out or a live stream is out, I will post it in there as well with your tag pinned, so you basically will get a notification for everything. Currently, YouTube only allows 3 notifications per day, so some notifications just are not going out and you may not be seeing all the videos. So hopefully this will help alleviate that. So if you can reach out to me on Discord, that would be fantastic. I appreciate that all of you are on Discord, but the videos will be there in the members section anyway. So if you check it daily, I do upload daily. That will also be there for you to go and check out. Right, that's it. Now we'll move the actual video. How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to another video. This is a react video for Bungie might need help for the final shape. Now, this is a video that I've been told to check into, to react to, because it apparently covers some Xbox stuff as well. It is by Aztecross. I'll have a link to his video in the description below. Please do go give him a like, because, you know, it's the right thing to do. And at least give him a bit of a view as well. Right, here we go.
All right, while we are here, while we are waiting on dim links, I do want us to cover some articles, because that's what we do. We cover articles. But this one's actually pretty important. Bungie reveals it has 1,350 employees post layoffs and is getting help from Sony PlayStation in developments. This is from Zuhad here. Bungie has now confirmed that it has around 1,350 employees after the mass layoffs last year, after a recent job listing mentioned that the company's workforce is at 1,400. In October 2023, the Sony-owned game developer Bungie, the studio behind Destiny and Marathon, laid off approximately 8% of its workforce. At the time, Bloomberg Jason Schreier reported that the company had about 1,200 employees. Now, as per the details from the recent job ad, it was assumed that the company has expanded its workforce from 1,200 to 1,400 employees in just 2 months.
I mean, that in itself is kind of sucky, right? So basically, they got rid of all the people that basically earned a lot of money. That's what it looked like to me here. Bungie got rid of all the people that were high earners, that were costing them money, and basically replaced them with cheaper alternatives. Or what they've done here is looked within the Sony ecosystem and internally recruited people over to Bungie. One of the two, we'll find out anyway.
Even after laying off over 100 employees. However, it turns out that this is not the case and that Bungie is still in a hiring freeze with no mass replacement of employees. Now, Bungie is getting help from Sony on the development side. This is according to the Forbes' Paul Tassi, who recently received an update from Bungie in response to his article on the topic. According to the report, Bungie has about 1,350 employees right now, which does not include contractors or Sony employees. Bungie has since updated the job listing on its careers website and has removed the 1,400 figure. It has been officially confirmed that more than 650 employees are currently working on Destiny 2. That is around half of the total workforce of 1,350. Interestingly, the game director of Bungie's new game Marathon, Christopher Barrett, revealed in August 2023 on the Fourth Curtain podcast that the company may have over 1,500 workers at the time. Conflicting data all around, right? Now, following the layoffs last year, Bungie...
I mean, that's weird, right? You've got the lead of Marathon, Christopher Barrett, who isn't an idiot, right? He actually knows what he's talking about. He's a very intellectual person. And he's telling you that there's 1,500 people there. And then they're saying that they've got 1,350 staff and half of them are working on Bungie. Where does that, you know, where is the maths making sense here? Where did the other, that doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
Removed over 40 open job positions from its career website as part of the hiring freeze, going from around 75 positions to only 19. The company has also confirmed that it is indeed getting help from Sony PlayStation on the development side along with other contractors. However, it was also revealed that this is not a new strategy for the Destiny developer. This speculation arose after an artist at Sony PlayStation unintentionally uploaded some artwork of unreleased Destiny weapon models with the PlayStation logo in the middle. The description mentioned that the weapon models and textures are from PlayStation Studios, something that had not been seen before. 2024. Apart from their in-house contractors, Bungie has collaborated with a number of companies for various aspects of game development. These include cinematic trailers, in-game cinematics, weapons, and armor. We know they outsource things, guys. This is no surprise, but let's continue. Some of the partners are Skybox Labs, The Mill, Axis Studio, Bond, Rebound Sound Company, Bear Down Studios, Mindwalk Studios, Trace Studios, Lakshya, Lakshmi Digital, Cractor, and several
Lakshmi. I love it. I love it.
Others. The final shape expansion for Destiny 2 is set to release on June 4th, 2024. Additionally, Bungie is also working on a free content update called Into the Light that will bring new content to the game. All right. Anybody got that Paul Tassi article? I want to take a look at that real quick. Close down whatever school you went to. You guys are dicks. Oh man, y'all are that next level dick, you know what I mean? Now, we touched on that article, but let's get right to the source. This is from Paul Tassi here. The title reads, has Destiny 2's Bungie actually expanded to 1,400 employees? Everyone, including some Bungie employees, are confused about some recent listings that indicate the Destiny 2 developer has expanded to 1,400 employees, just a short while after laying off a significant number of workers. While the number may be technically correct, there appears to be a lot of caveats here based on what I've heard about the situation. And this is, we got an update here. Bungie is now giving me some updates about, but there is a bit of a confusion around some of these figures. Hold on. Bungie is now giving me some updates, but there is a bit of a confusion around some of these figures. Bungie tells me they have about 1,350 employees right now, which does not include contractors or Sony employees. Sony employees and contractors are indeed helping out, but outside help is not a new strategy for Bungie, as they've done that in the past. We've seen that from trailers, guys. They've literally outsourced trailers. I even think Lightfall's trailer was outsourced, right, Chad? Lightfall's trailer, which was a banger, absolutely. Now, Bungie delisted many roles after the layoffs, and there's not been a mass replacement of employees or rehiring. There remains some confusion about the number of employees when layoffs started and ended, as I'm having trouble getting the exact figure for those. Now, players are hoping the PlayStation help is reminiscent of when Bungie had support studios from Activision helping out with Destiny 2 content back in Forsaken, Black Armory, Drifter, Opulence era of the game, which many players have fond memories of because of the breadth of what was produced, primarily Vicarious Visions, which they did so much. And you can almost see
they did. Vicarious Visions did an enormous amount. They practically did the whole of Forsaken. Curse of Osiris was pretty much Bungie on their own, but Warmind was virtually all of Vicarious Visions and High Moon. Don't forget High Moon as well. High Moon did a lot here. But basically, a lot of the content that was actually good up to Forsaken was basically done by Vicarious Visions and High Moon. Vicarious Visions and High Moon had a huge input into the base vanilla Destiny 2 storyline and gameplay. Curse of Osiris was full on Bungie. Warmind was actually Vicarious Visions and High Moon. Forsaken was Vicarious Visions and High Moon. Even like all the cool trinkets, the puzzles, the secrets, that was all Vicarious Visions and High Moon.
See from Vicarious Visions and Bungie, they would actually take expansions in hopscotch, where one would take an expansion, the other one would work on the next expansion, and so they always had some breathing room to work on stuff. But man, there was so much Vicarious Visions did that was amazing. Now let's continue. Now with the talk that Bungie really wants the final shape to be the best expansion they've ever done, they might have had Sony pull in support for them to help make this happen. Still, 1,400 employees working on Destiny 2 and potentially other Bungie projects is quite large. While it would be nice if this sort of bonus support would produce another massive expansion like Forsaken, I do wonder how much of this is contractors replacing jobs that Bungie employees were just fired from. We do not.
And that's the thing, right? If you are hiring contractors to replace people that you just literally laid off, right? Not fired, because they weren't fired. They were laid off. I know it's semantics, but there is a difference. I see a lot of people saying fired. Fired is something that, you know, you get for being, you know, committing gross misconduct. And at the end of the day, that's a huge red stain on your profile, on your name, on your, you know, your reputation. No one wants you if you're fired. But if you're laid off for whatever reason, at the end of the day, that's much less punishing on you as a developer.
I know all the details, but no, it does not appear that a few months after laying off 100 people, Bungie has suddenly hired 400 more. And this appears to be a combination of a few things happening here. As for the end results, we'll see what this apparent surge in the workforce in whatever form it has taken does for the final shape. Another internal thing I've heard is that the final shape is very good, but what specifically that means remains to be seen. I hope we can get something Forsaken level, and this may be how that happens. We'll see. All right, so internally, the final shape is very good. What's the barometer around there? Like, what else is very good in Bungie's eyes? Like, is Witch Queen very good? Lightfog just good? This is making me wonder if we're gonna get a third darkness subclass in final shape. It's not gonna happen, guys. It's not gonna happen. I will bet all the god rolls in my vaults that we are not gonna get that third darkness subclass right here.
Oh shit! If I was Bungie and I saw this, I would just make it happen just to see him cry.
I will bet them all. If we in fact get a third darkness subclass, the launch of the final shape, I will delete every god roll in my vault. It's gonna happen, Cross? It's not. It's not, guys. We are gonna get new additions to our subclasses, though, right? We're gonna get new supers to our light subclasses. That is gonna happen. But I need us to. I'm just trying to level expectations here. These additional people being added is not gonna suddenly give us that third darkness subclass. I don't see that happening. What I do see happening is I think final shape is going to be more refined. I think the narrative and campaign are going to be a lot better. I think the raid is going to be really good, and I think we're going to have a ton of loot. I mean, a ton of loot. And Bungie's already mentioned multiple times that that's the plan. Ton of loot, new archetypes, things like that. But
so what it means by ton of loot is that they might get one exotic armor per class. They might get one exotic weapon per class. That's, you know, useful for that class. And maybe they might get a class item, or maybe a sparrow. That's probably going to be in Eververse. But what we can see from this is the fact that Bungie basically got rid of all those people. And then they said, oh crap, we're actually in a position now where we can't build final shape. And so they've gone back to Daddy Sony. They've gone back to their parents and said, hey, look, Daddy, I need some help, because I got rid of these people for you, so your profit margins can be good and we can keep our company. But in return, now we have a problem with delivering on our promise to release final shape, so we kind of need you to help us. And the bad thing about contractors, and why a lot of people use contractors instead of permanent staff, contractors go under variable costs. Variable costs get grouped up into one big kind of number, and you don't really see itemized stuff for that variable cost, right? For fixed costs, you do. So salaries, and electric, gas, all this, those pretty much have like a fixed ratio of what it's going to be. I mean, maybe not gas and electric, but you get the point I'm trying to say. Certain things that are fixed, like software, yearly subscriptions and whatnot, they're all fixed. They can't change. But the variable stuff, that kind of gets pushed into one bubble. So it's easy to hide where your actually money is going, especially if it's variable like contractors. I know a lot of companies that actually do this. Instead of hiring permanent staff, they hire a lot of freelance, so it looks great on their their fixed report, because it shows that they're doing all of this stuff with the little stuff that they have. But in the back end, they've actually got a ton of contractors that's just piling in and making that variable cost bigger and bigger and bigger. And eventually, one of those companies that I know of, where someone I know works, eventually, their parent company and said, why is this so big? So that will eventually, that's the danger of it. But if you're smart and you keep it within a certain size, it's almost impossible for your parent company to actually notice. And so that's why a lot of companies do that. It's really sneaky, it's really horrible, and quite honestly, it's quite disgusting. But I totally see why.
I also think a good portion of these people that are being hired is to get Marathon out the door. Marathon next year is going to be the year of Marathon. And I do suspect that we're not going to get an annual expansion from Destiny 2 in 2025.
Now, I agree with that. Once Marathon comes along, and if Marathon is a hit, Destiny's going down. Destiny's no longer going to be their poster child. That's obvious.
I think 2025 is going to be completely focused around Marathon and getting Marathon out the door. And then who knows when Gummy Bears is supposed to come out. But Gummy Bears is the other one that they're working on in Unreal Engine. But yeah, them leaning on Sony to start helping them out? Sure. The question is, how much of this is part of like Sony showing up to help out, or Sony showing up starts, you know, it's like every time they fall short of a revenue projection that they've given Sony, how many more people from Sony will continue to keep showing up? Because that's part of the deal. You fall under certain revenue thresholds, Sony takes over more and more, or supposedly, right?
I mean, in the end, that's what's going to happen. I mean, it's obvious that Sony will eventually completely overtake and take full control of Bungie. I mean, they own Bungie anyway, even though people say that they have their independence. That's rubbish. You don't pay $3.6 billion to let a company run wild and do what the hell it likes. Clearly, the fact that there are clauses in there that basically hold Bungie by the balls tells you that Bungie is not free to do what they want. They are still restricted to what Sony wants. And though they may have some creative freedom that they penciled into their contract upon being bought, like Marathon being multi-platform, going to Xbox day one, that was a decision that Bungie wanted to put in at the time for their contracts. But ultimately, when it comes to like the money-making side, that's all Sony.
That's the risk there. Does it matter? I think it does. If you like the way Bungie is now, you probably wouldn't like a Sony Bungie. You probably wouldn't like a Sony takeover of Bungie. Now, I have stated in the past what I would love to see is, because I think Bungie's Sandbox team is fantastic. I think they should always have the reins there on Sandbox. I think the quality of life changes that have been done inside of Destiny have been really, really good, from loadouts and everything else added over the year, to Fireteam Finder and stuff like that.
It's taken 10 years. I'm sorry, sure, you're going to credit them for something good that they've done, and well done to Bungie for finally giving the community something they've been asking for 10 years.
But imagine if you handed the reins, the narrative reins, to Santa Monica, and you said, hey, here's all the lore. Take what you did with God of War, okay? Now do it in this game. What's your point? My point is that although I'm sure working with Sony is in fact a bit more stressful, considering the differences in work ethics across cultures. That's what I'm referring to. So wait, why did they just hire 400 people after laying off 100 people? I don't know, man. That's a question for Bungie. What did that article say? We kept the right people. Maybe I don't know. I don't know.
Man, I've just noticed how much Pete Parsons looks like Jim Ryan.
Maybe this extra 400 more people is the right people in Bungie's eyes.
Or Sony said get rid of those people because we want to start bringing in our people. Huh?
This is only something that Bungie and them know internal. Did they hire them back? No, they did not. But keep in mind, guys, this is everybody, dude. Everybody. I mean, start of January, there's been so many layoffs. So many gaming related layoffs. Y'all see that Activision and Microsoft just laid off a crap ton of people in this merge? And I mean, that's to be expected, but...
There you go, right? I said this in my earlier video, for those of you that watched it. In a merger, it's expected. And that's the key point here. It's expected. Unlike the layoffs at Bungie, at Insomniac, Naughty Dog, or basically across the whole of Sony, Embracer Group, Amazon, and whatnot, after the burst of supply and demand, things were always gonna kind of burst and jobs are gonna be lost. A merger, you're expected job losses. You cannot have a merger without job losses, because there are duplicate positions that don't need to be filled, and those duplicates that come from the company being swallowed are going to be terminated.
Yeah. So this is from Jason Schreier right here, breaking Microsoft, and this just adding on to everything. Because I know as a Destiny player, we tend to think that this is only affecting Destiny. We're like, oh my God, this is Bungie. How could you? But there's so many people getting laid off in the gaming industry. So from Jason Schreier here, breaking, Microsoft is laying off 1,900 people in its gaming division, including Activision Blizzard, just 3 months after closing its $69 billion acquisitions. Story comes shortly, first reported by The Verge. Blizzard boss Mike Ibarra is also out. Other Blizzard news, Alan Adam, chief design officer and the company's founder, is leaving the company. Odyssey, the survival game that has been in development for 6+ years, is canceled. People at the impacted companies tell me that as of right now, they don't know who are losing their jobs. Boomer's story will be updated here as we learn more. Now, Microsoft's Matt Booty said in a note that Ybarra chose to leave his position as president of Blizzard, but in November at BlizzCon, Ybarra told me that he wanted to stay for the long haul. Someone will drag me out of Blizzard, Ybarra told me. That's how long I will be here. It looks like somebody did, in fact, drag him out. Now, Jason Schreier gave us an update here. These Xbox layoffs are such a mess that staff across Activision Blizzard are texting me to...
And you know what? That's the weird thing about Mike Ybarra. He chose to leave, so we don't actually know. And based on his post on Twitter, it does sound like he left because of the people leaving. He's kind of following the crew. Again, just like Connie Booth, when she was let go and her staff followed her out. I don't see anything nefarious there. It does really look like Mike Ybarra left of his own accord.
To try to find out if they might be impacted. Nearly 2,000 job cuts, and people just now have to wait around to see if they're part of the bloodbath. So the point is, and this is not me giving Bungie an out. This is just me saying that there's layoffs happening everywhere in the gaming world, and I hate it. But it's hitting now. I know with Xbox, everyone kind of expected this, considering there's so many overlap in job positions between both Microsoft and Activision. But there are tons of other companies that have been getting hit by layoffs. Back to Sony and Bungie here. What we do know for a fact is that if Bungie does miss certain revenue thresholds, Sony will continue to take over more and more of Bungie. And so I'm sure there is a level of urgency there from everyone. I don't think Bungie or the people working at Bungie want to work for Sony, as some of you have pointed out. Maybe it's a difference of work environment. Some of you are rooting for Sony to take over. I don't know. I just want Destiny 2 to be a great game. I don't know what that would require, whether that means more Sony influence, but hopefully we get there.
Slap that like button.
And that's the thing, right? That's the ultimate thing. The Microsoft situation is completely different, and people trying to use that as a gotcha moment in all of this is just so stupid, because it's a merger. And when you have a merger, job losses are inevitable. It is going to happen. Now, these, the extra stuff that we saw, the customer service side and the retail department being shut down and maybe being offshored, well, at least the customer service is being offshored, but the retail, I mean, this just could be their pivot straight to digital. As we saw, they're looking at an all digital future. But the situation here with Bungie and the stuff, it's not sitting right. It's not going well. And, the fact that they are sitting here hiring people or bringing people in from Sony to cover the shortfall that they have from laying off those staff, it doesn't fit. It doesn't stack. And the numbers that they're giving also don't work with, what's his name? Christopher Barrett saying there's 1,500 people working on Marathon, but yet at the same time, there's 650 people working on Destiny 2. That in itself is over 2,000 people, but the staff have only 1,350 with 600 odd coming in from Sony. So where is all this going? So where is, I mean, if you look at those numbers, I guess that would make sense, but that 1,500 number was said before the layoffs. So it still doesn't make sense. It still doesn't add up. It still doesn't work out. So someone somewhere is lying, making numbers up, fibbing their facts, but you know what? It is what it is. That's the situation. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Do you think Sony will eventually take over Bungie? Is that the future that Bungie has in store for it? Or will Bungie ride this out and eventually go independent once again? You let me know, because I think, you know what? On this, Aztecross got pretty much every point right in this video. There was another, lately he had been kind of towing the company line, but again, this one was a very based video, and he called out the sections that needed to, and kind of explained and kind of wiped the slate clean with others like the Microsoft merger, which even he said people, that's expected behavior once a merger happens, which it is. But anyway, you let me know what you think in the comment section below. Let's have that discussion, and I'll see you in the next one. Remain legend.